Hi everyone, my name is Emily Holmes and my education giant is W.E.B. Du Bois. And so he was an activist, a scholar, and a sociologist. So just a little bit about him is he was born on February 23rd, 1868 in Great Barring, Massachusetts, where he grew up with his family. He was one of few Black people in the community that he lived in, but that didn't stop him from getting as much education as he needed. He ended up graduating as a valedictorian from his high school, and after high school he attended Fisk University, where he received his bachelor's degree in art. And that is where he first encountered the harsh racism of the South, was when he attended college. He said that before he went to college, he didn't really notice that he was one of few Blacks in the community. He was just a normal kid, and then when he went to college, that's when the racism in America was really picking up. After he went to Fisk and got his bachelor's degree, he became a commencement speaker at Harvard, where he attended school later. And he was the first person to receive a PhD from Harvard. He received his master's and doctorate from there, which is a huge accomplishment for him because most Black people during his time didn't get as much education as white people did, and that was a big deal for Du Bois. It was everyone getting as much education as they deserve. So some of his accomplishments and contributions to society were he was the founder of the NAACP, which stands for National Association of the Advancement of Colored People. And during that time, that was a big deal because Du Bois was a huge activist, and he really wanted to support the African American race, and he did everything he could to make sure that people, Black people, were treated equally. And so throughout his life, he fought discrimination and racism, and he was considered to be one of the most important Black people in the first half of the 20th century because of his influence on the public during that time. And so, like I said before, he was the first African American to earn a PhD at Harvard, and that is a big deal because Harvard is an excellent school. And then by the time he died, he had written 17 books, edited 4 journals, and played a key role in reshaping Black and white relations in America. So some quotes that I thought were super cool that he wrote were, one being, "Children learn more from what you are than what you teach." And I think that's a huge one as educators, that children learn so much from who we are as an example and as a person, sometimes even more than what we teach them. And so that was something I thought was super cool that he also thought was something important, that children need to look up to people, and as educators we need to be those that they look up to. And then he had a couple more quotes. One was, "I believe that all men, Black, brown, and white, are brothers, and the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line," which was really true back then. And he did his best to erase the color line and make sure that everyone was treated equal. And that was a big deal, and he did his best to make sure that people got the freedoms that they deserved. And so the last part is the effect that W.E.B. Du Bois had on teaching and had on me. And something he taught was that everyone is equal. Men, women, children, Blacks, whites, were all equal. And he taught that everyone deserved an education. he wrote something about how children everywhere deserve the same, or deserve an education, and people in America, I know that during this time, like right now, people don't really appreciate the education that we get. Everyone has to go to school, and kids don't like going to school. But we are really, really, we're lucky that we can go to public school, because there are other countries where kids can't go to school and they have to work for a living, and it's really hard. But W.E.B. Du Bois taught how important it is for everyone to get an education. He taught that hard work gets you places, and that you need to fight for what you believe in, which is so true. He was constantly fighting for his race and constantly fighting for Americans to make everyone equal, and that is something that he will always be known for. And last, he talked about discovering the world and all of its beauty, and he traveled the world. He traveled Europe. He moved to Ghana, and that's where he later died. But he just talked about the world's beauty and how we all should experience it, because the more we experience, the more we'll be able to relate to everyone. And so that's W.E.B. Du Bois, and I hope everyone will remember the presentation and remember the key points of his life.